Well, I would say that that's because they deal the drugs, and if it is a Honduran...
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's pretty obvious. Well, what they're probably doing was they were going after smaller-level cartel people to, number one, give the appearance that they fight drugs, and number two, maybe they weren't getting quite the cut that they wanted to out of this Honduran ring or whatever they said, or maybe it wasn't a Honduran ring at all. Maybe it was their competitors. I would look for the most upper echelon people that do get arrested and see if they kind of went into their own little rogue network. They weren't involved maybe with the payoffs with the Mexican government and the United States government end. I'm not sure what drugs they were dealing. What was the main drug? Cocaine?
Well, it was supposed to be, that they found on them 22 kilos of cocaine and about $500,000 in cash. I mean, I know
that's nothing.
I
mean, 22
well, of course,
kilos.
it's nothing. But apparently, it's the biggest drug bust in the Austin police history, and the federal, the feds were involved. And
$500,000? That's like nothing right now at this point. Yeah, no, I hear you. It's all for show.
Exactly.
All for show.
My point is, it's all an excuse, for martial law, and I really do feel like I just moved from Austin, not just because, the community out there in Austin is just so small, and outside of all that, I mean, they're preparing Austin for martial law. You see it every day with, the police harassment. They left that boy Nathaniel Sanders out there, his body out there for at least 5 hours. Mm-hmm. Apparently he was asleep, and they were able to open the door, and he was still asleep, and they still shot him. One officer was involved in shooting 2 people. They didn't sound any horns saying this is the police, wake up, get out the car.
Mm-hmm.
It's just... It
is kind of out of control here, and the thing that really concerns me, I thank you for the call, out here in Austin, is all these cameras that are everywhere. I've never seen this many cameras at lights outside of New York City, ever. Not even in California do you see as many cameras, CCTV cams, in side streets and off streets and highway roads. They are literally everywhere in Austin, Texas, and that is part of the control grid. I'm glad you brought that up. I thank you for the call. I want to show you the smart grid they want to put in place. Now, these commercials have been... they're all over the place. I've seen them a couple times. They just kind of roll off my head. I might have to play this twice, because they're showing you the biometric scanning. They're talking about the smart grid. They love the buzzwords. Who would be against anything that's smart? Oh, smart. It must be good. I want to be smart. So this smart grid thing is just out of control. They show the biometrics, smart crime fighting, smart water, smart energy, the smart grid. Hit it.
For the first time in history, more people live in cities than anywhere else.
Which means cities have to get smarter.
New York has smart crime fighting.
Paris has smart healthcare.
Smart traffic systems in Brisbane keep traffic moving.
Galway has smart water.
Smart meters in Dallas, Houston, and the smart grid in Copenhagen keep energy flowing.
Smart ideas are happening
all over the world.
I want to bring them all together in your city.
The smarter Paris.
The smarter Stuttgart.
São Paulo.
Copenhagen.
Kyoto.
Planet of smarter cities.
That's what I'm working on.
I'm an IBMer.
Let's build a smarter planet.
And IBM has been involved in eugenics and globalization since the onset. They were the ones that created the first obscure computers, tabulating machines that the Nazis used to see how long they could get work out of somebody before the old execution. Let's go to Joseph in Texas. The call line is 866-582-9933. Joseph, you're on the line.
Hello, can you hear me?
I got you.
I think I'll speak phone. Yeah, quick question. I am working on a documentary that I want to try to get done by the end of summer, but I'm wondering about the fair use thing. If I use a bunch of use clips, is there anything I have to worry about with that, or is that automatically understood and implied that I can use those things?
No, nothing's understood and implied. You have to be commentating on those. They have to be part of a broader spectrum. So if you want to use a news clip, you have to preface it. You have to say why you're using it. You have to put it into a body of work that has a further explanation. So you just can't carte blanche be playing news clip after news clip after news clip. But if it's based in a representation of a point of view, or a film that you do your own interviews in, you have your own video footage, then it is a lot harder for them to come after you. I'm not saying that they're going to come after you, but at the same time, I remember having the experience that I really can't talk too much about when we did Loose Change Second Edition, and the Naudet brothers, forced us, through litigation, basically to put a disclaimer at the front of the movie. And we did have to take some of the quote-unquote glamour shots out. In other words, shots that we didn't necessarily use for anything other than eye candy. Again, they have to be relevant. That was a definite learning experience.
Right. Yeah, I just watched your final one. That was a really good documentary there, and I do plan on tying in other things in with it. But I just wanted to make sure, kind of check on that. And what if I give it away, and what if I sell a little bit here and there? Does that?
Well, it always helps you that you're giving it away on the internet, or you encourage people to freely distribute it to other people. Even harder for somebody to come after you. But that doesn't mean you can't make profits off of it. However, if it was solely for profit, it might be a little tougher. But I'll say this: some of the top documentary filmmakers out there, including Michael Moore and Morgan Spurlock, have used news footage that they did not clear and used it under the guise of fair use. It's just jumbled in with a lot of other stuff that they paid for, because they do have budgets. You understand what I'm saying? Because they're not always going to license these things to you, and you can damn well bet that in Fahrenheit 9/11, they did not license him the footage of George Bush prior to announcing the invasion in Iraq. What happened was a whistleblower, and it's not really even a whistleblower, just somebody who had access to the tapes, the raw tapes in the editing room, kind of sent them anonymously to Michael Moore, and he used that stuff. And obviously he got away with it because that type of thing is fair use. The guy's the president. If it has a politically charged, relevant statement, and you're commenting on it, 9 times out of 10 you're going to be okay, but that 10th can be a bitch, my friend. I appreciate the call. We're going to go to Chris, Tim, Andrew, and others on the other side. I really, really need to hit home this story right here. House targets Fed in Bank of America investigation. Why? I mean, why now? Is it because of 1207, or is this something legitimate? We're going to discuss it on the other side.